If you're already struggling with your milk supply, the last thing you need is something else that's gonna kill it. Okay? Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. And for those of you that are new here, my name is Sina. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today's video is going to be all about breastfeeding mistakes. Mistake number one is thinking that breastfeeding is easy, because I'm here to tell you, sis, it's not. I'd rather you go in thinking that it's hard and it turns out to be easy than you going in thinking that it's easy and it turns out to be hard. Mistake number two is not doing your research prior to starting your breastfeeding journey. As I mentioned before, breastfeeding is extremely hard, so it's going to be important that you do as much research as you can before you even start your breastfeeding journey so that you can be well equipped. Mistake number three is not latching your baby immediately after giving birth. I want you to get familiar with a term called prolactin. Prolactin is a hormone in the body that signals the brain to produce milk. After you give birth, your prolactin levels is going to be the absolute highest that is going to ever be in your breastfeeding journey. So it's going to be important that you latch your baby immediately after you give birth so that your body is sending signals to your brain to produce a lot of milk. Mistake number four is being stressed out. Another term that I want you to get familiar with is oxytocin. Prolactin and oxytocin are going to be your key moneymaker hormones when it comes to your body producing milk. Oxytocin is the hormone that is responsible for your letdowns. If you don't know what letdowns is, letdown is when your milk is spraying out of your breast. When you're stressed out, your oxytocin levels is low. And when your oxytocin levels is low, your body will have either no letdowns or very minimal letdowns. Mistake number five is not bringing your pump to the hospital. As I mentioned before, right after you give birth, your prolactin levels are going to be extremely high. And you want to keep your prolactin levels high by removing as much milk from your boobs as possible. So what you're going to do is, after you latch your baby, you're going to wait about 20 minutes and then you're going to pump. By adding a pumping session after every feed, is going to increase your prolactin levels. It's going to send signals to your brain that I need more milk. So you want to keep your prolactin levels as high as possible. Mistake number six is not latching your baby often. You're going to want to latch your baby on your boobs as often as possible. By latching your baby on your boobs, you're going to stimulate your nipples. The more that you stimulate your nipples, the more milk your body is going to produce. So you're going to want to treat your boobs as if it was a pacifier. Mistake number seven is giving your baby the bottle too quick because you are afraid that your baby is not getting enough milk. Throughout your entire breastfeeding journey, especially for a new mom, in the back of your head, you're going to always be wondering, is my baby getting enough milk? If your baby is having the required amount of wet diapers or poopy diapers, then they are getting enough milk. In the event that your baby only has one wet diaper within a 24-hour period, that is an indicator that your baby is not getting enough milk. At that point, that's when you will give the baby the bottle. With my experience and with my research, what I've noticed is that mothers that latch their babies versus a mother that exclusively pump, their milk supplies do not compare. The mother that latches her baby in pump or latches her baby only usually has a bigger milk supply than the mom exclusively pumping. Now the reason why that is there is no device out there on the market that is going to extract milk from your boobs better than a baby. So if your baby is latching fine with no problems, do not just voluntarily give them a bottle just because you think that they're not getting enough milk. Doing this can really hurt your milk supply. Mistake number 8 is not completely emptying out your boobs after each feed. Now, if you are a mom that is exclusively latching your baby, you're still going to want to hop on the pump for about 5 minutes after you feed your baby, because your baby usually does not completely empty out your boobs. And as long as your boobs are empty, your body will send signals to your brain that I need more milk. But as long as your boobs are full or semi-full, your body is not going to send signals to your brain to produce more milk. If you are exclusively pumping, what I would suggest is after each pumping session that you hand express for at least 5 minutes. Now, if you don't know what hand expressing is, I highly suggest that you look up some YouTube videos on hand expressing, because that is going to be so important to your breastfeeding journey if you are an exclusive pumper. If you want me to do a video all about hand expressing, drop it in the comments down below. If I get at least 5 comments asking me to do a video on hand expressing, I got you, sis. Mistake number 9 is not pumping or feeding in the middle of the night. This, oh my gosh, is a big one. Do not skip out on nighttime pumping session or nighttime feeding sessions. The reason why you don't want to do that is because your prolactin levels are going to be the absolute highest during the middle of the night. And if you are skipping out on these sessions, what you're doing is telling your body that I don't need that much milk. Mistake number 10, not using a hospital grade pump. The reason why you want to make sure you are using a hospital grade pump is because you want to make sure that you are effectively removing as much milk from your boobs as possible. And some of the non-hospital grade pumps have a weaker suction, and if you're using a pump with a weaker suction, you are not extracting as much milk from your boobs as you possibly can. Mistake number 11 is not using the correct flange size. Not using the correct flange size can hurt your milk supply because you won't be effectively removing milk from your boobs. Sizing your boobs can be extremely difficult, especially if you have elastic nipples like me. Figuring out what flange to use can be extremely difficult, but it is not impossible. So in the event that you need help or you're finding it very confusing, I would highly suggest that you speak to a lactation consultant. Mistake number 12 is not drinking enough water. I would suggest that you try to drink at least a gallon a day. For you non-water drinkers, drink at least more than half of a gallon a day. If you do not drink enough water, your body will not produce more milk. Your body cannot make more for something else or someone else if it's lacking in anything like water, which leads me into my next mistake, which is mistake number 13, and that is not getting enough calories in the day. You're gonna want to make sure that you eat enough calories daily. Mistake number 13. This is something you shouldn't do, and that is using lactation cookies to increase your milk supply. Those lactation cookies are so freaking good. You can't just eat 1 or 2. You're gonna eat at least 3 or 4 packs. It is not worth putting those extra calories on your body because it does not increase your milk supply by that much. Mistake number 14 is fenugreek. What I want you to understand is fenugreek does not work for everyone. Fenugreek is usually effective in mothers who have insulin sensitivity or who had gestational diabetes. But if you're a mother that's just typically healthy, didn't have really any gestational diabetes, fenugreek may not work for you. In the event that you decide to try fenugreek, just crawl. Says just crawl before you walk. Literally take one like every other day. If you're already struggling with your milk supply, the last thing you need is something else that's gonna kill it. Okay? And my last mistake for the day is comparing your milk supply to other mothers' milk supply. I'm here to tell you right now, breastfeeding is not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody is different when it comes to the amount of milk that you produce. It can be extremely difficult and stressful if you let it get to you. So I don't want you to be focused on feeding your freezer. Focus on feeding your baby. I want you to know that whatever milk that you produce, whether it's 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, you are successfully breastfeeding your baby. In the event that your milk supply is low or you're not producing enough milk, don't worry. You can supplement with formula. There is nothing wrong with supplementing with formula. You're still an awesome mom. You're awesome because you watched this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to smash that like button because not only does that support me, but it also helps this video reach other mothers just like you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.